Shalom to elect, giving all praise and honor glory. How about Shemal Shai, by Shemal Chakodash, and give double honor to the elder apostles and elder bishops. A great millstone who well. Peace and salutations, elect. Shemal Mappa, my name is Mappa from the Great Millstone Plaintables Camp of Philadelphia. Come on another wee lesson. You have it here. Major storm leaves Philadelphia residents digging out cars and hoping for a snow day. All right. You have it right there. And you have this over 6 ABC Philadelphia, just something posted. I'd probably say, you could get a more hands-on perspective from the different people on social media, for a more broader range, of things that happen. I think Philadelphia with the social media, the internet, it made it where you could see a whole heap of things and such like that. And with this, it just goes and show you how Yahweh Bashem Shai is Almighty. All right, and regardless if this was manufactured, via artificial means or not, which is said to be a conspiracy, but you do have, different manipulation or you have weather, that you could just go into it. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. And you just look up that, as you can see, and just do your research and such. But it's not the claim. Hey, the Most High is making His way. All right, and He made His way through really the entire country, in which the entire country was seeing, or well, not the entire, but most of the country. Definitely on the northeast coast, at seen or the northeast, have seen some different temperatures they've never seen before. Even in Louisiana, just to even name a certain state, and such. And it's still cold, right now. Okay, and we'll even go. So I'm gonna go ice or snow. This is Psalms, okay. Chapter 147, 7, and verse 16. He giveth snow like wool. He scattereth the hoarfrost like ashes. Okay. And just look how the Lord, spread, bazaar, all right, or scatter or disperse, the different, the snow, okay, or salag in Hebrew, all right. It's everywhere. People don't even know how to deal with it, all right. And the Lord, like I said, He brought evil, upon, many people, in these cities and such, because Philadelphia is a major city, especially, all right, which, I'm currently located in, and, seeing firsthand and such, more than, many people even know, all right. So you have it, Amos chapter 3 and 6, it says, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord Yahweh hath not done it? Hath not done it, and the Lord did do it, because He created the light and the darkness. Isaiah chapter 45 and 7, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I Yahweh do all these things. So the Lord created this. Okay, simple as that. All right, this is just not a mere coincidence of an occurrence and such. All right, this was pre-planned, preordained to be done, just like how the lights, came, and the Lord placed all these different elements and created all that you see, through Yahweh Shai and the rest of the Elohim are the elect angels, who form, things. All right, here in heaven and in the earth, Yahweh Shai, creating things that are invisible, etc. Okay. Yeah. So going on, this is Psalm 75 and 7, but Yahweh Bashem Shai is the judge. He put it down one and set it up another. All right. And you have it where, a lot of people was put down. All right. In this, this storm. You got, like I said, he looking silly out here. On an icy street. They look like the Lord putting down these E's down there, and I'm laughing.
Yes, Sarah, we are now 4 days out from this storm, and many streets across the city are still a mess. This is an example of one. This is Pemberton here in South Philly. Look, it is completely untouched. Piles and piles of snow and ice. These folks can't.
Nice South Philly garages, houses with a garage, the small streets. Nobody ain't got to really worry about no crime and things of that sort. Hey, impacted.
Get their cars out of these garages. They say they feel like they are trapped here.
We're just kind of desperate to get this snow moved.
Snow cleanup is still causing
all those hipsters and yuppies, yeah.
Headaches across Philadelphia.
We all have garages here. All our cars are parked in there, and we have no way of getting out.
On the 700 block of Pemberton in South Philly, snow and ice is piled high. Corey Lurch says he saw a plow Monday that quickly left.
You see the tracks right
here. Yeah, maybe it's because he couldn't get down the block. It's impossible to get down the block, okay, with a, the average, the snow plow that the residential fleets have, okay? Even with skill maneuvering, especially with cars being parked on the street, on a one-way street, okay, that plow blade, okay, is in a shift with this snow, and it's battling, through the technology of four-wheel drive, okay. Hey, one force of move, could send it right into your vehicles and your cars. So, that's another reason why that whoever that was that went past probably went past. All right, it's gonna take salt, some heavy salt, and if the guy can even drive down that thing. But really, more efficiency, it takes backhoes. All right, and possibly it would take your efforts. Okay. Now they leaving it to you have it, the city of Philadelphia leaving it to many people they just throw in the seat. They allegedly have received training and things of that sort. But a lot of them are inexperienced plow operators. You have, of course, different subcontractors that they contract out. They get paid more money that may do possibly a better job in some sort. But hey, you go a lot of times after the storm, hey, they don't have them guys on them routes. Okay, so but there's a lot of troublesome place route stuff that was missed, so the city would have to send other different departments and different resources have to be of course ordered out to get things done. All right, and y'all just straight up suffering. Okay, and like I said, I know this. I've been in this city. And again, if you would know. Okay, I'll just I'm gonna leave it at that. All right, this takes definitely a bobcat, what they would call one of them small little backhoes, and they'll come down the block and do that really efficiency with ease. All right, but that also takes investment. All right, somebody's gonna have to divvy out that money. Okay, so you should, as you residents would say, how come we're neglected and the response, for our streets and we can't get out? Well, you're being ignored a lot because your city is ran by, obviously, the heathen, all right, the Edomite, and they don't know, how to really deal with this stuff. Simple as that, and if they do know, they're not investing that money in it. They do know. I would say this too. They do know how to do some things, but some places will get neglected. All right, simple as that. There's places that have been straight up blacktop. All right, in different areas. You go up far northeast and such. Okay, first hand knowledge. I know. Okay. A whole different type operation. All right, and operation is made to make sure and ensure that these streets get hit too. You know, but yeah, y'all just been neglected, so y'all should go. If you believe in that whole that voting stuff and all of that, hey, maybe you should complain to your father, about why this is not working. You know, and hey, we see how you would blame it on Jake Sherelle Parker or something like that, which is a mayoress. Hey, things got to be set in its proper order under the real judges. With the elect of Israel. All right, starting with them, the 144,000. And but really starting with Yahweh Shemal Shai and the rest of the elect remnant. All right. We got it. The Lord had to get rid of this heathen and set up the proper rulers of this earth. Okay, the Israelites in their perfection. Okay, because you got niggards that's don't want to use the money, and it's a lot of things that come into this, and a lot of people this should say, hey, we want the kingdom, if anything. All right, there's a lot of mistreatment that's being done in this time. Okay, how much money would have to be divvied out, for if they were to attempt something so stupid and hit them different streets with try to hit a street that can't be hit with a standard equipment. It would wreck all and mangle all these cars on the street. Okay. Not to say that cars don't be getting hit, but I can definitely say from my firsthand knowledge being seeing in the Northeast, as in these years, or this year, I have seen less, very, very minimum damage that has been done, because a plow blade can destroy a vehicle easily, all right, with just one shift, all right, so the people can be frustrated, but it all has to be well ordered. Okay, so these cities are diseased. Okay, so the scriptures say Wisdom of Solomon. I'm gonna get this Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15:1. But thou, O Yahweh Shem Shai, are gracious and true, long suffering and mercy, and in mercy ordering all things. Yeah, the Lord orders all things, including this storm. All right, these storms. All right, simple as that. Okay, going down. All right. It says, for if we sin, we are thine, knowing thy power, but we will not sin, knowing that we are counted thine. All right, slide. Let me try to get this real quick in the standard. For to know thee is perfect righteousness. Yeah, to know thy power is the root of immortality. And hey, going to the radical, going to the source, to know thy power. And we learn of the power of the Lord. Okay, it's humbling. All right, for neither did the mischievous inventions of men deceive us, nor the image spotted with diverse colors and painters fruitless labor, the sight whereof entices fools to lust after it, and so they desired the form of a dead image that hath no breath. And that's dealing with what? Idols. Okay, they make gods that are no gods, and that's just an invention. It's imagination that someone conjured up. All right, and as we do know, pursuant to Psalms, I would think I think 106. 96. It says in verse 5. I'll start at verse 4. I'll start actually a bit above. It says in verse 3, 96 and 3 Psalms, declare his glory among the heathen, his wonders among all people. And that's what I'm doing. Hey, let you know the Lord do all these things. That's a glory, all right? Because other people attribute the snow and the rain and, all that's ordered in the earth to, other things, all right? But it's the Lord that is behind it, okay? Even the good and the evil. All right, declare his glory among the heathen, the rest of the nations, his wonders among all people. Right, all people. All right, for the Yahweh is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. For the gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord Yahweh made the heavens. Okay, yes. All right, so understanding that the gods of the nations, all right, are idols. All right. And they're no gods, all right? Works of men, all right? And and you have these people that serving these idols, and hey, where are these idols at to save you from these different snowstorms? All right, I can tell you that the Lord made sure He sustained me and my household in a snowstorm, and still is, and I'm thankful for that. All right, because it could be, I could be at a misfortune like the rest of these people. Not to say that we don't have different straits, but we in the midst of it, and we are in Jacob's trouble. All right, you got these weak Edomites, which you can see here. The Jake guy still go and pull trash in this stuff too, by the way. Which the Department of Sanitation is mostly so-called Negroes, all right, Latinos, Native Americans, all right. It's like foreigners. Mostly Israelites, man.
Ton of side
You
streets
see Judah like crazy.
that just haven't been touched.
Speaking of untouched roads, this is Bouvier Street in South Philly, just off of Oregon Avenue, and neighbors like friends.
You can't if you got poles on the street, you can't even see. You barely can go down this street on a day that with a certain size vehicle on a day, all right, let alone on a day with snow. Okay. Come on.
Seen and Sun Ronan can't get out.
We were trying to get ready to get traction. We got traction. We're ready to trot, right?
Yeah.
Go in, press the engine button. Apparently last night in the extreme cold, the engine died, or the battery must have died.
So the Lord putting them in straight.
I didn't really imagine it would cause this many problems.
Yeah, no, they underestimate the Lord.
Chantel French, the owner of Caring for Kids Learning Center 2, she says opening up for children of essential workers has been a battle.
That's what I...
Yeah, I could tell you why would the people want to send their people out to the daycare? Obviously, to maybe work, so they ain't home going crazy. But you have it that sending them out there is a danger and a hazard too. Just to drop a person off at a daycare on a day that's normal with no snow is a whole operation in itself to do that safely, let alone when you have, snow on the ground. I've seen somebody let a person off this acceptor bus, like it was a school bus, and it was off because the other side of traffic. Well, me personally, I was behind. I seen it firsthand. My truck being behind the actual vehicle, and the person jaywalked, from the right hand side of the street, being in the right lane, and walked across the street, all right, into the opposing traffic side, all right, and it was like madness just to get to what appeared to be definitely, with their kids to go to the daycare. That was madness on a Frankfurt Avenue, all right, which is a major, artery, all right, for vehicles, okay, all types of sizes, all right, from, regular passenger vehicles, trucks, minivans, all right, semis, everything, man. Crazy.
We had to close. Today we had to do a delay. Staff can't get to work on the bus, so we have 4.
Yeah, buses wasn't running. All right. You had it, for particular days. Was it Monday, Tuesday? They had to, start to get the streets together, or the streets had to get in order for the buses to run. They suspended services, okay, at 2:00 on one of the days, okay. Lord, I'm gonna go into a more in-depth, thing. Like I said, I got firsthand experience with this whole thing and such, and it's just madness. All right, yeah, people can't get to work, and the people at work, like I said, they have to deal with the madness and the chaos that comes with running the business during this time. All right, because like I said, kids can easily get run over and fall, and it's such a liability. Streets ain't shoveled, are snow plowed, the pavements and unsafe. You got to climb up a hill, of a mountain of snow just to get across the street. It's a lot of madness.
Staff out. They were out 6 a.m.
People had to walk in the street. I seen a Russian lady walk in the middle of the street, or basically in the middle of the street. She can't walk on the sidewalk, so she in the street, walking. But on a Roosevelt Boulevard, what it's called, I think it's called Lincoln Highway. I think it also may be called, and it was madness. But the lady, she had nowhere else to walk. She chose not to walk there, but she would have to walk in the street. I mean, on the pavement, but she had to walk on the snow. But hey, she was a woman, old and mad. But anyway.
This morning, trying to shovel, slipping, sliding. Parents can't pull up to park.
Adding the extra.
Yeah, people, they drop off the person, get stuck, all that type of stuff. Look at that. This on this block, this car, this is almost like, these are almost a little bit over almost 20-inch wheels, and like, look at that, looking crazy, but that could be piled up snow from the, from you see on that side, but on this side you see how the snow is. They say we got about 9 inches or so.
Snow on the ground just makes it all seem nearly impossible.
You look around and it doesn't look like any of the streets been plowed. The small streets are icy.
So Fox 29 went looking for answers, catching up.
There you go. Freemason number 1. This guy. All right. Mr. Williams.
With Carlton Williams, the director of Clean and Green Initiatives for the city, getting a look at one of the lifting operations happening across Philly.
Many of our smaller, tight-knit
That's what they need right there.
Communities that are difficult to navigate through, where we can't just send a plow through because it will cause people to get blocked in, we actually have to lift the snow out.
Where do you haul all the snow?
Well, we have a number of locations thanks to our partners. They've given us space and land to pile snow so it can melt naturally.
So if you have a snow complaint in the city, in your neighborhood, calling the 311 hotline can help direct crews quicker.
We take those complaints and calls. That's why we encourage residents to give us that data. We know where the problem areas are. They are our eyes and ears.
So with frigid conditions and no major changes in the forecast, the snow cleanup could take some time.
We still want.
I've already prophesied it. You know, in the spirit, like I said, hey, it ain't getting from the weather forecast. It ain't getting any warmer. You know, right now at the time. You know, for the most part, we dealing with like, you know, single digits and double digits, but low temps, you know. I woke up, it was like 6 degrees or something like that. Come on. Highs, I was at like 22, and this in Fahrenheit. You know, crazy, you know. And having to work in this stuff. All right. Madness, you know, constantly. All right. So
our residents to be patient. I understand it could be very frustrating waiting for your street to get piled. We're moving as quickly as we can, and we haven't forgotten about the citizens of Philadelphia.
Dude, like I said, man.
All right, so there you have it straight from the city. So patience is key here also for folks that depend on SEPTA. That has been a big question.
SEPTA been getting there, though, you know.
For a lot of folks, especially with all the snow, and we have checked in with SEPTA. We're told at least 6 bus routes at this point have been out of service due to road conditions, but everything else should be on a normal schedule. But as always, before you leave the house, make sure you check the.
Yeah, I probably can guess some of them, like that 25 bus maybe. But anyway, you know, going from, you know, Northeast Philly, Frankfurt Transportation, all the way to South Philly and stuff like that. But you know, people be parking. There's a lot of madness. But anyway.
Across the city.
Action News reporter John Paul live in West Mount Airy with that part of the story this evening. Hey, John.
Yeah, this is that Carson Wilson guy. He would like to prioritize this area. I would say that he would like to.
Hey, good to see you guys, Rick, Shar. You know, the plows are kind of a blessing and a curse because, yeah, they do clear the road, but then
what? Oh, he gonna say? Look what he gonna say.
You end up with piles like this and cars just kind of stuck in it. Now, I want to show you this street down here. We're on West L Street. You know,
I mean, you would plow away, and then for the people, they would have to then shovel themselves out. Okay. Or just they would have to invest in they would have a backhoe, a million backhoes or a million bobcats for each street. It's a lot of money, a lot of gas, a lot of manpower to get that, you know, truck power to get that to the site, etc.
Notice that it really hasn't been touched very much. In fact, we're watching cars head this way and then they hang a left because you can't really get down.
Trucks, the salt that's supposed to come out, trucks, you know, the salt, you know, on certain trucks, that, you know, the residential trucks, those, like I say, a lot of them, first of all, man, I could say a lot. You know, you have it with this area itself, like residential fleet is damn near non-existing. Okay, that's a special op. Okay, you have different districts that have, you know, certain operations, right? But this has been it take a lot of time aftermath for somebody to come down to this area and such like that. All right, and I'm just gonna tell you like that. You know, some areas are prioritized and others are not. All right, and if you live near, like I say, like for especially if you live near, you know, like I say, like the far northeast, you getting better service. All right, higher property taxes. All right, some stuff just gotta go down. All right, so that's just what it is, man. You'll see blacktop, okay, a day or two after,
down there at all. And over here on this side of the street, you can see car after.
Like I said, you got Mount Airy. They like I said, that's damn near a suburb. Sort of black suburb. They got Edomites up in there too, but West Mount Airy ain't looking good.
Car just kind of snowed in. These folks here all still trying to dig out. They have been doing this for a long time.
That's a big street, though.
I don't know how we're going to do it.
Rebecca Nielsen and her
get a strong black man to do it.
Family spent the day like
pay him some money, he'll do it.
So many others.
Yeah, strong black man in general.
Shoveling out cars after the major storm. She's trying to dig 3 of them out from under feet of snow and ice.
I'm hoping like another hour to get my husband out. And then my daughter doesn't have to go to school tomorrow, so I'm debating whether or not that's a tomorrow.
Dude, she don't have to go to school. Just leave her home. Like, this is an emergency.
From Chopper 6, it's the same story, block after block, from Manayunk to Germantown to Mount Airy. This group is cashing in on the storm. They're going around offering help to dig people out.
And a lot of people are doing it by themselves, so when we see people, working, they be needing the help.
And you gonna get that mugger too. You don't think them young boys out there for nothing. I've seen niggas, like out here too. And I'm not, the true niggas, they ain't giving nothing out when you help them.
But Rachel
help them. Know who's out there is good too. I have one chick, the chick ain't give me, she ain't give me nothing. I said, where your man at? She say, what happened? They at work. And, what was it? Her friends at work. So her family's at work, but then another Keisha came, and then like seen, the work that was done, and that was just it. And it only took me 5 to 10 minutes, and I ain't trying to glorify myself, but this snow operation, it require men, all right, a man, and we talking about the judges. It take the true judges to be running this right, okay, with experience and wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You got people in the room, these rooms of the city governments and stuff. These individuals lack the experience. They got college degrees and stuff, but they lack any experience with dealing with snow operations, okay? These people working 9 to 5s and stuff like that. Sending crews out and stuff later, okay? It's a lot of stuff, and those that's assisting should be heads of this stuff, really. And probably more money should probably be given, to that effort of the snow ops and stuff. There definitely need to be reform done with the whole snow operations and stuff in the city of Philadelphia. In America, not talking about Canada, because I think Canada does a way better at this and such. All right.
Oates is trying to do it all herself in West Mount Airy.
But that requires money.
Well, she did ask for a push.
I try to drive out, and I don't get anywhere. So then I curse and start shoveling, and then I try to drive some more.
That's because, remember Esau, which I was definitely an Edomite, they lack patience, okay? You gotta, all of this gotta, like, this is a car, and then where are you going? Like, where's so important to go? This has to all get this stuff off the side. Put that off to the side. You look, your wheel is going into snow, and your car is you're gonna rip off your bumper and all that other stuff potentially. Snow is under the car. You're gonna blow. You trying to destroy the tire? Like, come on. So it's like a lot of people that just lack understanding. Okay, it needs traction, power, but really it just need a clear path, man. Simple as that. you know, to get you out. Hey, the Lord either gonna keep you, or he gonna give you that problem, or he gonna keep you and give you problems, or he gonna let you go. All right, and you can go into another problem. But the Lord was doing this work, you know, definitely in this storm. I must know patience. The patient and spirit. All right, and that's what one thing I know and learned, you know, especially during this, you know, about patience, you know, being someone behind the wheel. Okay, you have to have patience. If you're out there being a person that is trying to get themselves out, whatever it might be, it requires patience. All right, which is suffering. The scriptures say, Ecclesiastes 7-8, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, which thankfully we at the end, because we don't want to see so many of these different storms, all right, that these people cannot deal with. This was only 9 inches of snow. What if you got more than that? You know, you know, I was there, I was in New York in the blizzard '96. That was insane. But anyway, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. So, you know, a patient person, you know, those are Edomites, which are proud by nature, you know. Yeah, we better than them. All right, so like you with this whole effort and stuff like that, like, you know, Jake do better, you know, but it's about you have to acquire the patience, a ruck, which goes into a, you know, patience. It all can be into duration. All right, when you go into it, a ruck, to prolong, to be long. All right, to stretch out. Okay. And it's like, I know that if I put my efforts at something, eventually, you know, hey, you know, with it, Yahweh I get done. Okay. If I go with the snow with a shovel, a proper shovel, you know, hey, I'm going in, I'm getting it up. You know, the right equipment, I'm getting it up. Bang. I'm done it. And I'm on my way. All right. But it's all about preparation ahead of time, too. All right. So I'm going to just leave it at that. You know, the Lord make his way in the storms. We know that. So it's beyond hurricanes, all these storms the Lord is in. All right, so we'll leave it at that, man. Look at these morons.
But not everyone's spending the day digging out.
Haven't gotten to this part yet.
Some are just hoping they don't have to go anywhere.
Remember, E is impatient, so the flip side is, you know, I think like Psalms 50. You know, remember the dude couldn't even wait for the he couldn't even wait for Yaiquab, which is our forefather Jacob, to finish the meal, the food. Okay, when he went out and such and was famished, you know, from being in the field and stuff, right? You know, he served his birthright for one morsel of meat. All right. The dude hate instructions. You know, you'll tell these Edomites how to do stuff, and they don't want to do it the way you do it. You know. Shoot, like I said, hey, you want to see some work? Like I say, you know. I'll say this, like I say, that far, go to that far northeast. You know, go to that far northeast and see some of them different streets and stuff. You know. All right. You know, and there's different places in the city, because, you know, hey, with this, you know, through the spirit, I've seen the best and the worst, okay, of streets and that sort. Okay, the best and worst, and that's with all of these different so-called snowstorms and stuff. Being in Philadelphia for about, you know, since 1998. All right, and you know, I don't want to give too much, you know, stuff, but yeah, you know, let's just go. So this is Psalm chapter 50 and verse 17, seeing thou hatest instructions and castest my words behind thee. Yeah, part of the Lord's words is better to be patient, right? You know, some people, you know, you gotta have patience to wait or suffer. You got to wait a long duration in the house while this is going. Why did people go outside and get, you know, milk and cookies and all this other stuff and madness, you know, and then only to they want to rush the hell out the house and stuff for other things, you know? There's various different reasons and stuff, but you gotta have patience. All right, and these are, virtues, Christian virtues. All right, meekness, things like that. Like, I think that's in there. All right, these are things that we have to add to our spirit. Have to be in our spirit. All right, look here. The scriptures even tell you this. This is 1 Timothy chapter 6 and 8. It says, "In having food and raiment, let us bear with content." All right, we got food and clothes. We good. All right, you have to understand that. Like, a lot of people, they definitely have underappreciated that, possibly, and like I said, it done led them into madness in these different things. When they have it, like if you got a tin of sardines, or you got rice, or you got these different things, you got to be grateful, too. We're grateful for all the things that we do have as Christians, but we have to continue to be grateful and, as the scriptures say, content. All right, which is to be satisfied. All right, or suffice to be enough. All right, it is enough. All right, we got raiment and food. All right, and it's beyond just the carnal food. It's the spiritual food. All right, a man that's well natured, you look into it. This is I'll get this. This is good scripture. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and 1. A wise judge will instruct his people. All they told y'all was to go to the grocery store and get water and all the things that you need. But they instruct you really what to do afterwards. A lot of y'all, like, certain situation with you get in. All right. A lot of people should know some good people, which a lot, like, hey, as it's gonna go in a government of a prudent man is well ordered, right? Which is really, hey, in the government of a prudent man, what's the government? The mind control, all right, which coming from the Lord, all right, it's well ordered, everything's set, so he cool, but as it goes into, it says, as the judge of the people is himself. We have a fool that's ruling. All right, the basis of men, Esau, Edom, via Donald Nero Trump. Okay, 47. All right, and like I say, like as you see this dude like a madman with the popsicle force and bringing these different orders, draconian. Hey, the people are in the same stead. All right. So are his officers. Just look at his cabinet. And what matter of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. All right. And an unwise king destroyed his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. All right. The power of the earth is in the hand of Yahweh by Shemal Shai, the Lord, and in due time he will set over one that is profitable. All right, and you're gonna see the Lord gonna set this up right with Yahweh by Shemal Shai, the elect, running this thing perfect. All right. They have that scripture where it say, this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 31 and 19. A very little is sufficient for a man well natured, and he fetches not his wind short upon his bed. Okay, I'm gonna get that easily in maybe the GNT. Let me see, or the Good News Translation. All right, it says, a little bit is plenty for anyone with good manners. Right. Good customs, man. Manners and customs. All right. When you look up manners, which we had the law, statutes, commandments. External behavior. Our behavior is and conduct come from the law, statutes, commandments. All right. You know, we have a certain kind, right, of demeanor. All right. The way we're supposed to conduct and be, our behavior. I think it's like anastrophe. But going on. You won't be short of breath when you go to bed. Right. Besides, you won't be short of breath when you go to bed because, you know, you have it. Those manners take care of you better. All right. You know, you teach it. Oh, you got to rest. You know, you need a Shabbat. All right. The Lord made the Shabbat for man. Okay. A lot of different things. Or you trying to get your breakfast like you running a race. Going on, it says, in having food and raiment, let us be content therewith. All right. Again, Bibles. It says, and if we have food and covering, with these we shall be content. Right. We got shelter. All right. We got substance. We all right. Okay. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. So, you know, like sometimes, like, hey, this is even, hey, to myself, hey, the scripture talk about giving me neither poverty nor riches, feed me with food that's convenient for me. You know, we need just enough. We be all right. All right, because hey, you get certain riches, man, that take you to a trap, man, and the lusts and all that destroy you. Okay, dude, he got all the money, he getting whores, and you know he abusing all this liberties and stuff that he got because he got money. You know, now he done got set up, he get murdered, all type of stuff. All right, for the love of money is the root of all evil. Hey, again, with these snowstorms, there's a lot of money involved. Okay, and such. A lot of people love it, you know, but you know, hey, it could destroy you. You could be out there, one of them persons that had a heart attack during shoveling some snow. That has happened. It has happened, right? You know, all types of things. All right, stroke, cardiac arrest, all types of stuff. There's a lot of people out there. You know, they don't got a little young boy, you know, to do the snow for them. You know, me myself, I had to do my own mom's you know, pavement and such, which was fine. That's not a problem, you know. And hey, that's just that. You know, I don't want to put my mom in a damn snare, but you know, it is what it is. But you know, we do what we can. All right. Which while some coveted after, and I ain't do it for no money. That's a side note, funny. Which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. All right, and you got many, like I said, due to love of money, that's sold out, and it destroys them. You know, and give them problems. Now just look at that Alizar dude, man. He threw. You know. But anyway, you know, that's the Sakari former leader. But anyway, but thou, O man, flee these things, okay? And follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness. Fight the good fight of faith. Lay hold on eternal life, whereunto thou art also called. That's what we call for. To get to this eternal life. Okay, and has professed a good profession before many witnesses. All right, man, there's a lot of good precepts in here, you know, but these things, patience is one of them things that you're supposed to follow after. Okay, a lot of people are impatient. All right, patience, right? Patient is steadfastly waiting. All right, perseverance, getting through. All right, but it's a constancy. All right, endurance, and it makes you hard. All right. What it say? How patience worketh. Patience worketh. See if I can get this Lord will in the spirit, man. Y'all getting a snow understanding. Knowing this is James chapter 1 and 3. It says, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. All right, Slakia. So, the patience is what helps you grow. Okay? It's part of a purging, a healing. Again, patience. Go hoop om ne, which is, again, enduring. All right, having the quality to suffer, man. You gotta have these abilities. That trying to face it is gonna get you to there. All right, so let it do its thing. All right, but a lot of people, they don't have that. So hey, that's why in other forms of their life, basic stuff like snowstorms and stuff, they fall. They crashing out. And this I need to put together a crash out compilation and madness that was going on during this whole thing and still going on. You got druggies still down K&A going crazy. All right, I see this thing firsthand. Trappers still trapping. Crazy. Schemers. All type of dumb stuff. All right. Look at this. Kensington Ave, Philadelphia Live. All right. Look at this right here. This live. All right. Fair use warning. Oh my God. Live TV. Not for education. This is not for any monetary gain. Hold up. I gotta put the audio off. They got audio and video of this crap, man. Madness. Shelbourne Street Madness. All right. That's one of the street off of Allegheny. All right, you got the 1800 and 800 block of this Kensington. All right, madness. All right, madness. Shelbourne, madness. All these streets, Hilton Street, madness. H Street, madness. All right, all these blocks around here. Argyle, madness. Malta Street, madness. Just to name some of these K&A blocks. All right, madness. So you can see just on this and stuff how it is. Once you dip off on these side streets, you got madness. Most of these streets in Kensington are one-way streets, by the way. Okay, which are small and tucked, and you see it's a bunch of trappers and sketchy people. It's madness. Okay, so that's another part that they want. This is also part of Philadelphia, 19134 or whatever. They consider it North Philly, too. Northeast / North Philly, to a degree. Northeast, but it's like, it's a hot mess. It goes into, you got Port Richmond and all of that. Okay? And it's mess and it's business as usual. Hey, it never stopped. Okay? When the storm, the madness kept going. Babylon kept going, but it's not going to be healed. Okay? The cold ain't stopped these demons. Alright? But this place is madness. Alright? You can check that out. Okay? Got different camp. Look. Madness. Okay? O Block and all that. That's madness. Alright? You ride Ontario, Glenwood's cool, I can tell y'all about different blocks that's alright and cool. But you got a lot of madness. Okay? And the Lord, Yahweh Bashem shall set up the madness. You guys, people still going to corner store. Right now, it's like, it got to be definitely in the single digits. And people still out there moving and doing drugs. And this is why the Lord got to destroy Babylon. The Lord making it cold, and the people, they still don't understand. All right? You see this truck right there, look like a truck that is definitely utilized by the city of Philadelphia, but it's not being utilized in the capacity of being outfitted for what? Snow detail. So that's wasted material from PGW. That's water department right there. You know? Because it's in the Allegheny, as you can see. All right? Business. You see people walking in the street. You know? Madness. You know? And it's like, what can you do anyway sometimes? But you see that, you know, they do got paved there. You know, oh my God, live TV, fair use warning declared, man. You know. Let's see if they got some more y'all can see, man. A little bit better view. You know, salt and heron or Fetty needles and trank. You know, trappers still out there, you know what I mean? They don't stop. Teslas. Hot mess, man. So, you know, Babylon gotta go, man. You know? So, there was another scripture. This is another, and this is telling you also, you know, giving some wisdom about, you know, not to be like such a damn slave for money. Remember, scripture talk about how labor not to be rich. So it's also, you know, through the Spirit, you know, and not that I work to get rich or anything like that. I'm far from that, but you know, either try to put you in that spirit to try to just work, man, to kill you, like you gonna get rich, but really undermining you and just to working every day, you know. But G and T, all right, this is right, Sirach chapter 31. Worrying about money will make you lose weight and sleep. Worrying about business will keep you from sleeping just as surely as a serious illness does. Rich people work hard to make a lot of money. This in DNT. Then they can sit back and live in luxury. Right? Poor people work hard and have nothing to show for it. And when they rest, they are still poor. Crazy. It's so crazy. You know? No one, this is 5. Sirach 31 and 5. No one who loves money can be judged innocent. Alright? His efforts to get rich have led him into sin. Because you have it, these people are corrupt. Alright? Because they love money. That make you take bribes. You know what I mean? All that type things. Them type things. Alright? Like, man, many people have been ruined because of money. All right? Brought face to face with disaster. Money is a trap for those who are fascinated by it. A trap that every fool falls into. All right? A person who gets rich without sinfully chasing after money is fortunate. Right? That's heavy right there, man. A person who gets rich without sinfully chasing after money is fortunate. You know, fortunate, man. That's a blessing. You're like, damn, man, because, you know, this dude, he found a way. Do anyone know anyone like that? How? See? Like, it's crazy. We will congratulate him for performing a miracle that no one else has been able to do. Yeah, man. That just show you how raw that is. That's crazy. You know? So when you see money, you can see a lot of corruption and a lot of, you know, just ill moral, like, you know what I mean? Like wickedness, man. If anyone have ever passed this test, he can be well proud. Has anyone ever known that he could get away from cheating someone and not taking advantage of it? Right? Because a lot of people that's into this money game, they take advantage of good people. All right? You know, they sending bulls on death missions and stuff, man. You send somebody in an area like this with like I say, this dude spinning around wine. You don't know who these dudes is and stuff. They sending them to plow these crazy ass streets. You know, if they hit anything, you know, these dudes, they could potentially want to kill them. They already are killers already. Like, it's madness. And a person to send somebody out, you know, on a they have it like 311 calls and all this madness. You know, you gotta consider these different things. You know, you gotta consider the hopeful elect being out there in these different storms too. Okay? So, you know, just put it like that. You know? Let's get this Sirach 31 and just read it. We was at the top. Yeah, the poor laboreth in his poor estate, and when he leaveth off, he's still needy. You know? Still need. I tell you, I work and I still need bread. Right? But the Lord give me what I'm supposed to get. Alright? Gold has been the ruin of many, and their destruction was present. Alright? It's a stumbling block unto those that sacrifice unto it. Right? Right now we use FRNs as basically gold these days, but you know. And every fool shall be taken therewith. Blessed is the rich that is found without blemish. Right? That's gonna be the elect. Alright? It's covered by Yahweh Shem Shai and had not gone after gold. Yeah, that ain't sell out. Alright? That kept their garments clean, kept the righteousness of Yahweh Shem Shai. Who is he? And we will call him blessed, for wonderful things hath he done among his people. Yes, the hopeful elect got works, alright, that exalted his own nation. He sought after righteousness, which is, yeah, leads you to the design of the kingdom. Yeah, that leads to the kingdom, man. Roughly paraphrasing, you know. You can get that scripture, but you know, it says, who hath been tried thereby and found perfect? Then let him glory who might offend, and who hath not offended or done evil or hath not done it. Alright? You know, having a wicked eye. Yeah, it's a lot, man. So, you know, it'd be like, you know, you seen this guy, man, you know, from the sanitation department. You know, they put him on the missions. They put him on basically the basic mission. This dude got a Black and Mild or backwood on a dash, and he plowing Kensington. All right, I'm not sure if that's G Street. I gotta look. You know, one of them. You know, K&A is not my specialty. You know, but I know where it is. All right. One of them, you know, numbers you'll see.
If your car look like this, just go ahead back in the house. Just go in the house. Ain't no need for you to be outside today.
Yeah, remember the city, when they declare a small emergency and they shut down the city, Bulls is out there, you know, hey, plowing people in, right? You know?
If I can't drive, you can't drive.
It was already plowed in once, but twice, but thrice. Until they gotta take them plows off and go run trash. You know, so also remember, man, they getting their get back.
Happy snow day. We tearing up. Allegheny don't need to go nowhere. House. Go in the house. Go.
You say the city, they put, unfortunately, I received several reports about this activity where drivers who intentionally buried people in their cars often costing safety and dangerous conditions. The city of Philadelphia does not tolerate this type of behavior, and if it occurs, we will address it immediately. But how they gonna address it? Residents who witness city employees intentionally burn snow vehicles in the snow should call 311 or report it 911 in case of emergency. City officials have not said whether the viral video of the driver has been identified or disciplined. You know, and this is a part of the game, you know, with that. But he definitely, you see, he got evil intent. And man, you know, all I can say is, hey, the snow gotta go somewhere, and somebody gonna get it, whether it's the left or the right. But there's ways to get, you know, snow off this block, you know, and you know, hey, when plowing, I'll say this, you know, hey, they told the what, plow to the right. Also, what is it? Yeah, I mean, you know, that's it. I'm gonna leave it there, but a lot of them individuals are niggers, man, that work for sanitation department. I would never want to work for them. You know, they're horrible. You know, beasts, brute beasts, man.
Happy snow day. We tearing up. Allegheny don't need to go nowhere. House. Go in the house. Go in
the lady custom, like you arsehole or whatever. You know, but you guys look for the original video. You know, you can find that on Instagram and all that too, man. But you know, it'll be on YouTube somewhere. But yeah, man. You know, nightmare. Okay, man. You know, so, you know, people can't get nowhere. Hey, Center City looking nice, though.
A prolonged freeze. Streets crews have been busy tonight working to clear the snow piles around City Hall. All city offices and the courts are open tomorrow. However, Philadelphia schools are remaining virtual.
That was a day ago. They put schools back on deck. And, you know, it's a madness because it made a traffic madness, all right, today. You know, and just danger and hazard because it's barely any place for the people, if anything, a place to park. You know, for the people that drop off the kids, and the sidewalks are not really, you know, done that much for some cases. You know, some can be done, some not. You know, it's a danger, man. It's a hot mess, man. You know, so like the city, it just needs to chill. You know, really, it should have rested because it was a Shabbat when it happened, I believe. You know, when the first start of this, it was, I believe, according to the new moon, if the Sabbath is currently Sunday Eve to Monday Eve, why y'all got the city still running and all that? All that for the love of money, man. You know, a lot of people, oh man, we better eat rolling doing overtime. You know, all this could have sat. You know, you got dudes that's in the actual storm. It's snowing and they trying to get it up. You know, it's crazy that they have people, you know, having to do these things. But this is E and his infrastructure. He got things that gotta go down. You know, and he need people to do it. You know, but a lot of money is definitely wasted in these efforts. You know. Y'all got computers, y'all got all type of stuff.
Despite the ongoing effort to clear the snow throughout the city, side streets remain a real struggle in many neighborhoods, and it's leaving people pleading for a plow. Action is reporter.
Begging. Hey, some got it. You know, but not even really begging, but you know, some got it, man. And man. And some of the directly these newscaster bulls know about it, but you know, I'm gonna leave it at there again. All right. So yeah. So that's it. Hey, the fear of the Lord will get you through Jacob trouble. All right. We are on the road with martial law, roundups, and branding. The squeeze is on. Shalom to the elect.